Okay, your audience will see it in a moment. There you go.
Hello. I think that we are, what?
Go back to the OBS and you can see yourself.
Okay, it looks like we are up. So, that is exciting. I apologize to any of you guys who have been following along with me tonight and trying to see all this live video, Google Hangout, whatever type thing. And it looks like now we have video and sound. I can't see your comments at this time, but that's okay. I'm going to try to answer a bunch of email comments and subscriber comments and questions and things like that. So for those of you who were not here a while ago, I was apologizing for being so busy recently. With the school year starting and with me being a teacher and a student, things just get kind of crazy. And so thank you for sticking through with me. I will have a lot of new videos coming up very soon. So I'm trying to look on my laptop to see questions and comments. Okay, I have Chloe Hall asking on a pet tarantula video, how often would you feed a juvenile bee smithii? I feed mine one medium sized. Looks like that's what she said. I would say probably 1 to 2, possibly 3, depending on how voracious your animal is. Cricket or roach around once a week, or you could do 4 to 5 days if you're trying to grow up your animal. If you're going out of town and needed to stretch a feeding, you could probably go up to 9 days as long as they were well fed. So that's what I would say on that one. There's somebody who wrote in a language I really have no idea what it is, so sorry about that. Somebody asked, what about rose hairs for pet tarantulas? They're great too. I was just trying to give some general animals. Someone said I need advice, but they didn't say what they needed to know. Eric Pregler asked, do tarantulas carry diseases? They can. However, none that are communicable to humans. Let's see. Corey Gray said, my bee smithii is super mean, so sorry about that, Corey. Okay, let's see. Gosh. Okay, let me see what else I can find. I wanted to mainly focus on email comments and questions because I had a lot that had kind of piled up, and so sorry about that. So bear with me while I get to my YouTube email. Okay, a guy named Rob, or maybe a girl, I don't know, maybe it's Robin or something. Hello, I've quickly come to appreciate your videos and expertise. I just bought a small Mexican red-knee tarantula, 1.5 inches-ish long body. I have her in a shoebox size clear plastic container. Bought her at a pet store. They also recommended the small adhesive heater pad and had me place it on the outer side of the enclosure. He is moving around now, but seems to like to hang out on the side or the wall with the heat. Would this indicate that it's too cold in the house at 70 degrees? I tried to use a Q-tip to lightly touch her bum, but she wouldn't budge at the moment. But she does move around now and then, so I anticipate worried. Last, how often should I feed her a large cricket? Thank you so much. On the feeding, let's see how big, 1.5 inch. I would say probably weekly would be adequate. I mean, husbandry can vary depending on how quickly you want to grow up your animals, and sometimes it can just depend on them. As they get closer to a molt, they can quit feeding. Right after a molt, they're usually much hungrier.
I took her today. I told her she went potty and stuff, and he let me have the soap for helping me.
70 degrees may be a little cool for a Smith eye, so I would recommend continuing to use heat. So that was a pretty good question. Thank you for that one, Rob. Okay, let's see. Okay. Somebody named Juan Aguilar said, hi, I've been watching your videos on YouTube, really like them. I was wondering if you had any Avicularia or Versicolor or GBB slings for sale. Thanks. I do have Versicolor available right now, and so you can email me about that. And someone named Jackson asked about little jumping spiders. Let's see. You can see. I'm not exactly sure what species you're referring to, but it depends on where you are. You can keep jumping spiders. If they're really tiny, they can be difficult to feed. They aren't exactly... I think they're a little more difficult than a tarantula because they are so small, but I really like them. I would suggest that you try to identify the species and then look for information on the care of that animal, because similar to tarantulas, the care of any animal can vary based on what it actually is. Let's see. Okay.
You're gonna have to go through stuff that's been graded too, because since July we haven't answered any email.
Okay. Okay. Alright, someone named Sylvia was asking, said she found a baby scorpion. She has it in a round food container. She's been looking for how to take care of it and what kind it is, but not having a lot of success. Feeding it flightless gnats right now. Being that it's tiny, everything I read about putting it in a glass 10-gallon tank seems overkill right now. Saw one of your videos on the different housing from baby to adult tarantulas. and the handling of scorpions. Last year you showed it. You had it since it was very small. I was hoping you could help me make a great home for it as it grows. The scorpion was found in the bathroom at night, of course, in San Dimas, California. It was in a house setting, a little shock to the people who lived there. I'd never seen a scorpion around their house for 20 years, so now I want to keep my new pet happy. As far as scorpions, I often keep them in containers similar to tarantulas. For substrate, I often use vermiculite for most things, but again, depending on what species it is, might indicate whether it needs more humidity or a sandier substrate. If I knew what kind it was, I might have a better idea of how to care for it. So Sylvia, if you can send me any more information, I will do what I can to advise you a little more specifically. Charger 5150 was wondering if everything was okay. They hadn't seen me upload videos in a while and they were getting worried that we might be involved in the flood. Hope you and your family and animals are all safe. Brian. Yes, Brian, I'm alive and well and just very busy. So thank you very much for that. That was sweet. I'm sorry I've kind of dropped off the radar for a little while. Okay, let's see. Carolyn, hi, I need some advice. My goodie Sling azalea had a really bad molt last Sunday. Looks like a wet molt. I was told not to intervene, but after 6 hours I had to step in and remove the old bit of molt which was wrapped around her legs. I didn't think she was going to make it, but a week on from her molt, she's still alive. She's lost an eye. Ooh. And one of her legs had fallen off, and some of her old mold is still stuck to her abdomen, but is slowly starting to come off, but it looks sticky and wet underneath. Eesh. I just tried to feed her some fruit flies today, but she was having none of it. She can't climb and can just about get around. How can I go about feeding her if she's refusing to eat? I will send you pictures of how she looks. Also the feeding video I took of her today. Okay. So, first of all, if you're having a tarantula with a bad molt, the first thing you can do without directly interfering is usually by increasing the humidity in their enclosure, because for a tarantula to molt properly, they actually have to, what they do is they pump a layer of moisture between their old skeleton and their new skeleton, and they kind of use that to separate out of it. If they don't have enough moisture in the air around them, then they have a difficult time creating that barrier. And so by increasing the humidity, it helps them do that properly. So that would be one thing. Helping a tarantula molt is really tricky, because if you have ever watched a tarantula molt, you know how fragile and delicate they are when they're molting, and you can definitely pull body parts off, and that's tricky. It's hard to know when to jump in there, and I do assist animals sometimes, and there are cases when they may lose a limb, and I haven't seen. That sounds pretty gruesome, but they can regenerate legs. I would hope that in the next molt, maybe they might start to, I don't know, heal up from that. If it's still alive, that's a good thing. That could indicate that she's going to pull out of it. As far as her looking wet, I'm not sure about that. I would think that she's probably going to feed when she wants to feed, and if she's not eating, she probably is not able to eat. So I wouldn't try to force feed her or anything. What I would probably do is make sure that she has plenty of moisture. You would probably want to mist her directly and offer her food frequently, like maybe every day or every other day. On the other hand, you want to not stress her out more than is necessary. So That's a difficult one. It sounds like overall you're doing the right things. Let's see, I'm going to look at these pictures really quick. Looks like I'm not able to see them at this time. I'm not sure why. Oh gosh. Looking at the feeding video she sent, pretty much all the legs are kind of crimped up. That's going to keep her from walking. That's a difficult situation. I've seen like a few legs crimp before and the animal can still kind of get around. I don't know that she's going to be able to walk or do much. I would keep her hydrated. Mist her frequently because it looks like she can't really get around, and maybe just I would put food near her. I've never seen one come through a molt this bad and survive, but good luck on that and keep me posted, and I hope the best for her. It's really sad. Oh, let's see. The next email says that there's a picture of her sitting in her hide. So maybe she is getting around. Oh, well, the next picture she looks okay. So maybe she'll come out of it. Looks like you're doing a good job, Carolyn, so keep up the good work. Let's see, some people asking about substrate. Looks like we already got back to them. Jose Gallegos wanted to purchase a Sling avicularia, was wondering what the process was. You can just email me back at this email address, and I can let you know what I have available, and then we can arrange shipping. It's as easy as that. Okay. Sorry, there's a lot of messages here. Hello, Marita. I'm Jonathan on my YouTube channel. My channel name is Johnny Alabama. I'm new to the hobby of tarantulas, but I'm learning. Have learned very fast. I've seen many of your videos. I'm ready to add more teas to my collection. I'd love to order my next few teas from you. If you have a list I can pick from that has a name and a price to choose from, I'll get my order underway. I'm located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Alright, Jonathan, just email me back at this address whenever you're ready, and I will get you a list of the current animals I have available. Okay. Jose Ruiz was asking if I had any green bottle blues available for sale. I do not at this time, but I do know that Jerry De La Cruz or Access Denied almost always has a good selection of tarantulas available. So you can check out his YouTube channel and contact him there. He's very reputable. I know him well, and I've been to his place, and I endorse him completely. Okay, Jackson Carter asked a couple of things, and then he asked, how do you get air holes in the containers? I've tried almost everything, and the container breaks. So I have a couple of different methods. For acrylic or plexi, I use a soldering gun, and I obviously, before you put the animal in, I do that on plastic too. For very small, like deli type containers, I actually use very fine needles, again, before the animal is placed in there. So it looks like Jackson sent a couple of emails. Let's see if I can find those. Okay, Jackson was looking for Euthyllus species red, and I would also refer you to Jerry De La Cruz or Access Denied. He asked some other things, and it looked like I replied to those. He also asks what I would keep a small sling in. And if you see any of my videos that show little slings, I usually keep them in very small deli containers. For little terrestrial, I keep them in short, wide containers, and for little arboreals, I keep them more in a vial type container. And then as they grow, they need to obviously go into something that's more appropriately sized. Somebody was asking about sulcutas. He was saying I gave him information about iceberg lettuce being a poor source of nutrition. He wants to know about some good and bad things to feed him. There's actually a really great sulcuta book. I believe I have it in my library. Let's see, that's all Dabras.
Same guy.
Okay, well, here's the Aldabra book. This is by Richard Carey Paul. Let's see if you can see it. And he is the guy that also wrote the Sulcuta Guide, and he has an awesome book. So I would recommend this book to anybody who wants in-depth care on sulcutas. So check out him. Again, that's Richard Carey Paul. I would check out his book. He has a lot of awesome information. Okay, this is Carol, and again, it looks like she'd been having some trouble for a while, and I got back to her earlier in July. Okay, here's somebody. It looks like I had already gotten back to them. So this is Carly Prosperi. She was asking about, she had an LP that was having a wonky molt, and so we had talked about that a little bit. And so Carla, if you're watching, I would love for an update on that molt. I want to know how your animal's doing. Let's see. What else do we have here? Corey D. My name is Corey Dursey, fellow tarantula hobbyist. He has some mature male Haplopus species Columbia large that had recently molted. He didn't know that they were male. Let's see. He's on Arachnoboards. He's been a subscriber. He's been posting them on classifieds. Okay, he's offering to do some business, loves my channel, and he likes that I love the creepy crawlies as much as he does. Much love. So he gives me his number and lets me know where he is. And I might be getting a hold of you soon, Corey, so be looking out for me. Okay, Jesse Ritter owned all different kinds of tarantulas for 8 years. He's recently gotten, and different kinds of animals for 8 years. Recently got into keeping tarantulas and found that it's not so easy to find beautiful premium enclosures. I want to get into creating and selling my own premium enclosures and would like feedback from someone experienced such as yourself. If you would, please look over these questions. What features would you look for in an enclosure? Well, that's a really good question. I have some friends that make some really beautiful enclosures, and I tend, since I have so many animals, to basically, I keep the functionality as my primary goal. Basically, I want to make sure that my animals are safe and healthy. So the main thing I look for in an enclosure is that, number one, it is safe and appropriate for the animal. For example, it depends on what you want to keep in there, because arboreal and terrestrial are totally different. If you're going to keep something tropical, it may need to hold humidity a lot more than something that's from a desert region. So basically that it can meet the animal's needs, and also that it is easily cleaned, because if you can't clean it very carefully, especially if you have several animals, it tends to not get cleaned as well. And so if you have one animal and you want it to be a showcase animal and you're all about spending hours a week cleaning, then I guess that wouldn't be really important. But I would say functionality and making sure it's a proper environment would be the very most important. Are there any features you would like to see in our enclosure that are not yet available? Oh, that's a really good question. They don't make a lot of enclosures that are specifically for tarantulas, but I think having an automated misting system, which I know are available in some enclosures, but in a tarantula enclosure, would be really sweet. Are there any features you want to stay away from? Well, me personally, I like to kind of steer clear of things that are too decorative, simply because they are often more difficult to clean. For example, if you have, like, say for example, snakes. I keep them on newspaper almost always, except for like a sand boa or something like that, because that substrate is disposable, and to me it's more hygienic. It's not as pretty, and you clean it, you could throw it away, you clean out the enclosure, and it's perfectly clean. To where if you're dealing with cage carpet or something like that, you can clean it, but it's not as clean. So I would just say probably things that are going to grow bacteria. That's my main problem with cork bedding, because it tends to mold up so quickly. I think it's pretty and I like it, but to me it's not as hygienic. Any other suggestions or comments, or would you be interested in reviewing one of our enclosures if we were to send you one free of charge? Absolutely, I would love to see your enclosures.
I'm going to email you right now.
I will email you back, and I would love to see what you're working on. This email was sent in early July, so I don't know if you have any kind of prototype ready, but if you want to send me pictures, maybe I can give you feedback, and I would absolutely love to review your containers. So I'm so glad you emailed me. I hope this input helps, and I will be contacting you very soon, Jesse. So thank you for your inquiry. This is a question from Jackson Carter. Oh, let's see. It looks like this is a sequel to another question. I better read that first. Okay. Okay, so he was asking about Versicolor and some other things, and I got back to him. And then he asks, I was wondering if I should feel bad if I open the cage and her web gets slightly torn up. That's a tough question. I can't tell you how to feel. I know I do, but I also know it's a necessary evil. Some animals, like Versicolor, often insist on webbing the lid. What can you do? Be careful, and I don't know, maybe they like making new web. So I personally do not like tearing up web, but sometimes it's got to be done. So I think you're a real angel for even thinking about that. So thank you for your email, Jackson. Okay. Jake Walsh. My OBT Norman molted this week and showed itself for the first time in a long time. I was concerned to see what I think may be tibial hooks. I've added a picture which isn't the clearest, but I'm afraid I was wondering if you could confirm for me if they're hooks, or does that mean it's a definite he? Does this mean now he is nearing the end of his life? Sad face. Apologize for the ignorance. Let me take a look at the picture. Let's see, that's the other picture I was looking at earlier. Doesn't look like I can see it. Let's see. Oh, maybe. Oh.
On that picture, it's tough to say, but if it is a male, he's probably he can live up to a year or two. And if you would like to breed him, you might have the female, which they can breed.
So this picture is taken like through the grate of a cage or something. It's hard to see if that's what I'm looking at. It looks like it may well be tibial hooks. Some species have a longer life than others. If he is a mature male OBT, he may still live for another year or possibly 2. And I might even have a female for him. So Jake, if you're interested, contact me again and maybe we can arrange a breeding loan. Okay. Let's see. Ashley Simmons or Simons. Looks like we got back to her. Texas Reptile Expo, my favorite show.
Mention when the next date is.
So speaking of the Texas Reptile Expo, it is one of my favorite expos to go to because they are one of the best and safest shows that do have venomous. And I'm going to find out really quick when the next one is. The next one is supposed to be this fall, or is it the summer show? Let's see. Let me take a look. The next show is in San Antonio, Texas, September 17th and 18th. And if you have any questions about this, they do have a Facebook page, which is Texas Reptiles Expo, or you can email them at texasreptilesexpo.com, and that is the expo put on by Bonnie Berry, and it's my absolute favorite. I would recommend it to anybody. I had an email from Mark Bliss. It looks like we visited about some stuff. Thank you for emailing, Mark. Okay, let's see. Who else have we got here?
That's what we did. We'll go back to YouTube. Let's do comments.
So that was a few of the emails that I had in my recent inbox.
If I forgot to get back to you, please email me, then I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Will be fine.
If you had emailed and I hadn't gotten back to you yet, please just resend your email so I can see it at the top of my list, and I will make it a point to get back to you as soon as possible. I do love hearing from all of you, and if there's a question, I definitely want to get back to everyone. As the channel has grown, it's gotten harder and harder to get back to everybody, but your questions and comments and feedback are super important to me, and that's why I'm making this video. Okay. Mike the Tarantula Dude made a comment saying you should do a video on the easiest slings to raise. Just saying. I think that's a cool idea, Mike, and I will definitely put that on my list of videos soon to make. Bet Ong commented, when are the new videos going to come? That's a good question. I have lots of footage ready, and it will be coming very, very soon, I promise. Maybe even tomorrow, so keep your eyes peeled. The poor gamer commented, we love you. Thank you, gamer. I love you too. Let's see. Looks like Animal Lover replied to a viewer. Scott Keller sending me some compliments. Tarantula Boy 2016 commenting, you're so cute and I love the tees. Thank you. Andrew Jacques, I love your video. Quick question, I really want to get into tarantulas and decided, is that the whole thing? Let's see. Oh, decided I want 100 curly hair female. Is it worth the extra money for an adult, or should I raise a sling? P.S. I really want a tarantula I can handle decently regularly. Okay, on that, I would say that it depends on what you want. If you want an animal that's handleable, I would definitely recommend starting with a younger animal, so it can get used to you, and so you can get used to it.
Get 3 slings, because one of them is a good chance of being.
When you buy a little sling, it's always a good idea to get more than one if you can, 2 to 3, because unfortunately a lot of times the little teeny tiny guys don't make it. You can get a young juvenile, but I personally like to raise up slings because I think it's interesting and I think they're fun to watch grow up their whole life. Okay. Wrathfang said he had fun meeting me at the reptile show. Thanks for taking time to talk to me and my 4-year-old daughter and my wife about millipedes. Oh, that was you guys. Cool, thank you. Hope to see you again. Hopefully you'll be there next one in September or November. Yeah, it was a lot of fun visiting and hanging out with everybody in San Antonio. You guys were all really, really cool. Okay. So let's see. Alrighty. A lot of stuff going on. Okay. Pardon my butchering of your name. Kajamish commented, I remember the first OBT I owned and had it in a 20 long gallon tank. One night I had sorry, it's still loading. A nightmare of it climbing out of its enclosure and up my blanket and about to bite me. The cage top was slightly off and there was webbing all around it. Of course, I woke up freaking out, and it even got more intense. The top of the cage was open, just as in my dream, except no webbing, but the OBT was not to be seen. Oh man, I freaked out big time. After an hour, I finally found her. She had burrowed under her water dish. LOL, I learned a lot that day and respect all spiders. That's really funny. I know a lot of people have nightmares about tarantulas or spiders and snakes. I don't know. I think that people tend to have an innate fear of those types of things, but I really, really respect people who can overcome those fears and keep them safely in captivity. So I think you rock. Thank you for doing that, and I'm glad that your OBT was safe. And I'm sure that you always watch the lid after that. Let's see. Somebody had a question on Versicolor. He said, this is Matthew B, maybe? He said that his Versicolor stopped eating. Any suggestions? I would say to take a close look at your animal and try to figure out if they are possibly getting close to a molt, because if they are too close to a molt, basically they don't have any more room to eat or grow or do anything. And it's kind of like a woman being super duper pregnant where feels like she can't even eat anymore. And basically at that time what you want to do is leave them alone and boost humidity. Somebody asked about a Versicolor, very cool spider, or let's see, is this on the Versicolor video?
Yep.
Looks like it. Very cool spider. How much are they? Do they bite? Versicolors, their price ranges usually by their size or how old they are, with the youngest ones being the most affordable and a big beautiful adult being the most expensive. However, again with Versicolor, I like to raise them up because they're one of the species that are exceptionally beautiful as babies and look totally different and really amazing also as adults. So I like to, and also I'm kind of thrifty, so I like to get them when they're babies. Do they bite? I'll tell you the same thing I tell everyone, and my students will laugh if they hear me say this. Anything with a mouth can bite, including you. So yes, they bite.
Only spiders ever bit you. Only spiders ever bit you.
That's actually the only species of spider tarantula that's ever bitten me, and I suffered no effects from it whatsoever. And don't let that freak you out. They're normally very docile. I got a new Versicolor spiderling and it hasn't eaten in 3 weeks. Will it molt soon? Fairly new. I'm guessing that it's going to. Basically, with a little Versicolor, you can tell that it's getting near a molt, that their abdomen is really full and round, and it gets kind of shiny. That means they're getting ready to molt. Somebody said, I see you have all those tall pretzel containers with the round tops. I love those.
I know.
I'm guessing he's asking like where I get them or what they are. Oh, what species do you use those for? I use those for any medium to large arboreal species. So, because I would not use a tall, narrow container for terrestrial species. Comment in your video, where did you get the syringe bulb? I'm using a turkey baster and it's so terrible. I just get my stuff wherever I can find it. No place in particular really on those types of things. So sorry, I don't have a good answer for that one.
If you have a friend that works in the medical company, ask if they have access to it.
If you have a friend with access to medical supplies, you might talk to them because I have an inn and that's where I get some of my things. Let's see, here's a comment from Gabby Mesmerized. Let's see. I'm dumb. No, you're not dumb, Gabby. The first species of tarantula I tried was the rose hair, but I can never really tell if it's ate or not because of how nice it is, almost like a puppy. I could turn it on its back, rub its belly, play with its fangs. I wanted something that would behave more like a spider that I couldn't handle. So I got that nice blue cobalt spiderling. I made all the necessary research. It likes humidity around 80%. It digs itself a hole, so I need a high-level substrate, etc. But still, I'm rethinking my decision. Can a beginner take care of this bad boy? In my opinion, I think absolutely so. I would say that the most important thing is that you do your research, and it sounds like you've done that. So I wouldn't probably play with that animal, Gabby, but it sounds like you're doing the right thing. So good for you. You made a good choice. I know not everyone condones the decision to suggest more advanced, what would be considered advanced species or more aggressive species or more defensive species to a newbie, but I think that basically most people can do anything they want to do as long as they stay informed. I had attempted a live feed, which was an epic fail, and Rex Studs was commenting on it. He was suggesting names for my puppy. Looks like Acalia and She-Wolf. I really like those names. It's going to go on my list.
Check and see what commentary before you get here. Click on the Google and just see if people comment it. I just want to Google something.
So let's see. Oh gosh, there's okay. So okay. So I'm just looking at the let's see. I'm looking at some of the feedback from you guys here today. There's more puppy names: Shyla, Layla or Leela, Orenda, Shaniqua. Faye. Deadly, you're beautiful. Thank you. Some people bailing on me because my live feed sucked earlier. Somebody said we got 3 pink-toe tarantulas from watching our video. Thank you so much. One is his wife's, and one is his daughter's. So awesome. Somebody's saying, oh, it's that guy. They want a Mexican red knee next. Somebody's saying they gotta go feed their critters. Damien said, I think you're awesome. Love your channel. Oh, you guys are being so patient. Thank you. This is Robin quickly saying, hi, taking a break from my tattoo session. Your spider collection's really cool. Thank you. Let's see, other people running off to feed their teas. Tea room almost at capacity. People visiting with each other. Somebody, Spider-Man is suggesting a book called Silk by Caitlin Kiernan. Let's see. Okay, yeah, there's a lot here. Okay. Come to NARBC in Arlington, Texas next month. That would be awesome. I'd love to go. You should send me the date of the show. Will you be at the San Antonio Reptile Show in September? I probably won't be there this fall, but I like to go to that show as often as I can. And as soon as I think I'll be hitting the next show, I will make sure to announce it because I love to see you guys there.
Just to recap, you're reading all your comments if you haven't answered for months.
Yes, and just to recap, I'm reading all these comments because I haven't been able to answer everybody for the last few months. So thank you for being patient again. Okay. This is on my Soul Cutter video. Let's see. People were commenting on my Soul Cutter eating a big pepper, and then Miguel said that it was a bell pepper, which it was. Spacetime Adventure said he wanted a tortoise. Nick at Night said, do you live up north? I'm just wondering how you house your tortoises in the winter. I live in the southwest, and it does snow here. It does get below freezing in the wintertime. I keep my sulcatas. They're an African species. They do need warm weather. They do need warm weather. Once it starts getting down below 55 or 60 at night, I bring them in at night. They basically have a really large trough that they live in alfalfa during the wintertime in a climate-controlled area, and anytime it's warm and sunny during the days, during the transition from fall and spring, I take them outside, and they get to run around, and sometimes they even go to my classroom and visit the kids at my school. Let's see, Adrian Knoll is sending me compliments. Sam Hin said he just bought a sulcata.
I'll let you know, we'll do some more tomorrow. We've already been over there.
Let's see, I have Moonlight asking where I got my sugar gliders, trying to find someone to sell sugar gliders. Some of mine, well, I should say the baby in this video I reproduced myself. However, I always recommend Jessica Ivory with Ivory Reptiles, or Suzette with, what is the name? S&S Exotics. That's the name of the shop that I don't know if she owns or manages it, but she and her partner have an awesome store in Houston, but I do believe that they ship all over the place. She is really awesome, and so get on the S&S Exotics website, and that is probably one of the most reputable places I know other than Ivory, and S&S tends to have a greater selection because they devote a lot of time and energy on sugar gliders, and Ivory Reptiles also do frogs and other things. So it is now 9 o'clock, and I still have lots and lots of homework to do, and I've kept some of you guys here for a long time because my first couple sessions were kind of a flop, and so I'm going to let you guys go for tonight, and thank you for being with me. I love you guys, and I want to hear lots of feedback, good and bad, on how this was, because if you guys really like it, I'll try and do it again, and if you didn't, then maybe I'll never do it again, so let me know, and I will be seeing you guys soon, whether it's live or whether it's in YouTube land, and I love you guys, and I will see you all very soon. Good night.